Hello everyone, welcome to the Imperial HoloNet. I'm GID123.
I am Nero Cole.
And today, Nero Cole and I are here to discuss one of our favorite game franchises of all time, Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. Now, before I really begin, I should say off the top of my, just off cuff, this is a series that has meant a lot to me. It
Same.
introduced me to the Final Fantasy series. That's my favorite series of all time, and this is another one of my favorite series. And I've been with this game franchise for more than 10 years now. I've been with this franchise for a while. I've seen it grow into something new, and sometimes what it has grown into has not been the most spectacular thing. So today, Joel and I are going to talk about the issues that we believe are present in the Kingdom Hearts franchise today.
Same here, same here. Now, full disclosure, I love this series. I love Kingdom Hearts. There have been moments where I've just been like totally into it, like Kingdom Hearts, just the lore and stuff, all the weirdness. But especially as a Disney fan, like that was the first thing that really hooked me to Kingdom Hearts was seeing the commercial for the first game and seeing Jafar and Maleficent in the same area. Like that just really got me excited. Um, I can go into the whole story of how I started with Kingdom Hearts 2, but I won't do that. But anyway, yeah, I love the series. I love just following it. I've been doing this also. I don't know for how long. I might have been younger. Maybe as long as Cole, maybe a little longer. But yeah, but there's a lot of problems for this game. Like when you start
Yes.
thinking critically about it, like there's a lot of problems, and some of it might also just be my personal taste. You'll see this as we talk about it. But yeah, there's a lot of problems for the game. All of them have problems or issues, and we're gonna discuss.
And like any game should, each game has problems. Some games in the Kingdom Hearts franchise have more problems than others. We'll get into some of this stuff, but some of that just comes with, and I'll say this, just in what this franchise evolved into, and that's kind of the thing you kind of have to
Take it
just
or leave it.
accept. You have to take it or leave it because this game evolved into something much different than what it was originally,
That's one of
and
my
it clearly,
complaints. But I've taken it. I've taken it for the most part.
yeah,
Um, and you'll see why in a moment. So I guess we should just start with the first game, should we? Unless
yes.
you
The
okay.
the
So
first thing we should probably say about the first game is that its gameplay, it's decent, but it's very if you're not
it's early
a
2000s.
it's very early 2000s, and if you are not into this form of RPG, which it's an action RPG, and if you're not very, and I don't know how many action RPGs were big at that time, but if you are not not very knowledgeable about these kind of games, you're going to be at a loss and probably up to your eyeballs
Oh,
trying
I
to
was
deal.
like that when I first started. I don't remember when I first got the first Kingdom Hearts game. I remember renting it. That's the big thing I remember. I remember renting it. Let me think. I had to be like I want to say like 10, 11, somewhere in that time
Yeah,
frame.
I was probably a little younger.
And here's the thing about big thing about me. I have no patience. I have zero patience for anything. So I'm
As I've
terrible.
learned over the time I've known Joel.
Oh yeah. So I have like no time for RPGs. Or RTSs for that matter. And like fun little fact. It took me a while to figure out that I could actually change my keyblade, and by doing that, I actually could destroy my enemies
Uh,
faster. And add like little moves and stuff. So I was like doing like the same three moves again and again and again through like four worlds that I probably should have been leveled up a long time ago. Um,
the thing you got to realize, people, is when you're a kid, you're skipping through these tutorials just wanting to get into the meat of the game.
oh
So
gosh, yeah, like
it's when you get older that you realize they're there to help you, and if you don't learn about the game, you're going to have a hard time. So this is kind of a public service announcement too. Play your tutorials, people. But anyways, on to
oh
the
wait.
what?
I just want to say
Yeah,
I just wanted to add for tutorials the thing with me about that was because I wanted to get to the Disney stuff. Like I wasn't like I was still a kid at the time, so I was kind of a bit self conscious about playing anime things. I don't know why. I was just weird that way. Anime was just kind of something I liked, but I didn't like people knowing I liked. I'm totally opposite now. I care less. But I just wanted to get to the Disney stuff, like because that's my familiar safe zone. Like Disney stuff. I want to see the Disney villains doing their thing. I want to be with Donald and Goofy and Like, I don't care about these kids with the gray hair that doesn't really exist in real life. Um,
Well, it does in some aspects of
and
life,
also
just
because
not.
like I didn't want to like fight the enemies because I was afraid I would get killed. Like I was just going, get to the boss battle, get to the boss battle. Just keep just chug it through, chug it through, chug it through. Bad mistake. Don't do that. Grind. Learn to grind.
Yes, you'll learn to love grinding from these games.
Right, but in terms of that, I was always terrible in terms of the gameplay. Um, now let's transition, I guess, to a story perspective, because we should talk about that. Kingdom Hearts 1, I think, in terms of story, and I'm biased because I've actually made a video of why I like the first game the best. We
Yes,
won't
click
go,
here to watch the video if we ever put a link to it.
yeah, we won't get into that debate too much. I will be here for
Yeah.
hours. But I will say, and I think no one can deny this, that it's at least simple-ish. I mean, it's still complicated, but it's because it's, especially like some of the beginning stuff, where like you're in like some sort of weird dream state of you don't know what the heck's going on. But when you get out of that and just start actually getting into the actual story plots, it's relatively simple, and that's because I think it's the first game. They didn't know they were gonna make more. Even though we're going spoilers right with this, right? We're not
Yes, we're going
holding
full spoiler. So,
full
just
spoilers.
fair warning: if you're watching this and I've never played the series, I would recommend having played some to really get the full appreciation from this video.
All right. And full spoilers, like they do leave an open-ended game, but for the most part, it's relatively simple. You can follow it without much difficulty and dealing with all these factions and stuff. It's pretty much, kids fighting Disney villains. Then there's another big bad. You gotta fight him. Game over. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
the basic summary of the game
so I think in
in a
terms
few
of
words.
story, the game does a really good job. I think. Would you argue Kingdom Hearts 1 has the strongest story?
I would argue that 1 and 2 are equal in terms of that.
Okay. We won't debate that today. But yeah,
We want to make that today.
well, we could, but we would be here for hours, and I'd do my shtick. Um, but in terms of story, pretty good. I can't really think of anything wrong with the story, unless Cole, you can think of something, and I'm just missing.
Well, the one thing we should probably mention the whole thing with Ansem about him being Xehanort's Heartless changes some of the ideas that the original game had going for it.
Especially if you're playing in canonical order and not release
Yeah,
date order, which is sort of like Star Wars in a weird way. It's sort of become that.
or release order, I think is what you mean.
No, release order is Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories 2.
Yeah, yeah,
Canonical order is Birth by Sleep 1.
yeah. Well,
Well,
canonical order, the
right.
Unchained X, and then
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Which is why when you like watch Kingdom Hearts 1, you pretend the other games don't exist for a while. I kind of do that just as a weird social experiment. Like, I'm not one of those guys like, ugh, I don't like it, so it's not canon. Yeah, I don't do that. I just kind of like in a social experiment. It's interesting to think of Xehanort as this big bad of this one somewhat self-contained game.
yeah.
It's not completely. Let me see what else. Oh, there was something I was gonna mention about the story that might be a problem, but I forgot what it was. Dang. Oh yeah. The thing about the story is like I was thought you were gonna bring up how the whole concept of Kingdom Hearts should not work, and this can get into a discussion about fan fiction of how fan fiction loves to do crossovers all the time. You ever realize that?
Yeah.
And you just see fan fiction crossovers that like this should not happen. Like, what's a fan fiction crossover you've seen that should not happen? Like two polar opposites. Like,
Naruto and Harry Potter.
exactly. Like, no, that you should not do that. This should not be. Yet for some reason, Kingdom Hearts it works, and just the entire franchise itself. So
Well, it blends together similar characteristics enough to where that we buy all these personalities being on screen with each other. It really works in that regard.
right, right. Although that can be a bit. That's my personal problem when it starts leaning towards Final Fantasy. In the next game of Chain of Memories, but Cole, do you want to add anything else to Kingdom Hearts 1 before we skip to the next?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, I think I've said my piece.
It's funny, Kingdom Hearts 1 is like we can't think of much to complain about. I feel like because Kingdom Hearts 1 it had to be a passion project because it's the first one,
It
right?
had to be.
It's the one that it's not like okay, we're making another one because we got to make money. I'm sure there's love put into all of them. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be
Yeah.
like one of those guys, but the first one was like we have to make this perfect. We can't blow it. It's the passion project. The next ones is when we start having more complaints.
Chain of Memories, when we get into it, I'll say this right now. Chain of Memories might seem it's going to be a bit hard to get into because it works by an it's an action game still, but it's it's a card game at this point, and that drove a lot of people away from what I've read.
Oh yeah, I've never played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I know the story, enough. I know about the gameplay issues. Like, yeah, like I heard they fixed that though in the Revive Rebirth.
Yes, that was a lot better. And the original was even decent in some regards. It's just the card game system was such a departure from what the original game was all about that it kind of loses its charm gameplay wise in that regard.
Yeah, well, that was on the Game Boy Advance, so it's not
Yeah, so it was limited by what they could do.
exactly. So the gameplay is probably the weakest. I don't want to say this game has the weakest gameplay.
I
Uh,
would say it's the weakest gameplay in the series.
you'd say what?
I'd say it has the weakest gameplay in the series.
Okay, probably doesn't. Now in terms of story, this is where okay, full disclosure, this is where my own personal biases come in because I am a Disney fan first and foremost, and I don't hate anime. I like anime. I like certain animes, but this is when the anime influences start overtaking the Disney influences, and it loses the charm. This is where the evolution begins. Um,
Yes.
and you can
Some people like that, some people don't.
exactly, but I think we can both agree worlds are pointless here. They don't need the worlds.
Yeah.
They don't.
And that
They're just rehashing.
I'm glad in Riku's side of the story, they fully just embrace
Gave
that.
up.
Yeah, the worlds are just they're here to be here.
They're just boss battles.
That's all they are. They're boss battles, and
Story
all
story.
they are, and basically they're repeats, save Twilight Town and Castle Oblivion. They're the only two things that are.
Hey, you
And
wanna
we'll
know
talk,
what's funny? The manga of Chain of Memories actually makes the world a little more fun than in the actual game. I've read the
oh,
mangas actually.
we should do reviews of the manga eventually.
I would love to. I kind of like them a little more than the game sometimes. But I guess that's the hindsight of getting to write a book.
Yeah.
But the worlds are
Story,
pointless.
yeah, the worlds are pointless, and also Sora in certain areas gets taken to new levels. In some levels, he's a little.
He's a
You don't.
jerk. He's a
Yeah,
jerk.
you don't sympathize with him. Like the moment when he goes off into the Destiny Island section and just leaves Goofy and Donald behind, where they're actually thinking logically about all what's happening, and he just ditches them.
Yeah, he yelled at Jiminy Cricket. Oh, that's actually something I want to praise. Jiminy Cricket actually gets something to do in this game.
Yeah, he gets something to do with this game, and he's actually a source of good insight into a lot of this.
And then they completely forget about him for the rest of the series. Even in Kingdom
until,
Hearts 1.
until recoded.
Yeah, well, actually, Kingdom Hearts 1 kind of did something with them with the Monstro world, but then that's it.
But it's funny in Kingdom Hearts 2, they add an extra scene with Jiminy and with the whole collectible kingdom with the whole crown gimmick.
Oh,
He
yeah,
gets
I heard
like
about that.
scene with that.
Oh, poor Jimmy. He gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah, and they
But yeah,
sure.
back to Kingdom Memories. The story itself, I think. Okay, they do that weird thing of this is where this is what people call the Nomura effect happens. I think I might have made that just up, but this is where that whole to lose is defines to lose, and like all this stuff that's supposed to sound smart, but in the end just sounds silly.
And at the end, it is silly.
It is silly. Well, okay. I'm not against the idea of the further you go into the castle, the more memory you lose. That can make sense. I think.
But it gets watered down into it was just a plot just to get Sora under their control. That's all it was.
And I I feel yeah, oh yeah, I think that part should have just been left out. I think that should have just been the cast effect on Sora and not a plot to take it over his mind. That's just silly. Because I don't even know what the end goal he is here. Like the villain goals are like very vague.
And it's supposed to be they're supposed to be setting it up, but it's not. But we're not. But
It's too vague.
it's not good enough in that regard to warrant us to let it go.
And I feel like the next and Kingdom Hearts 2 does not help because I don't think that connects at all in terms of the organization's plans. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, and it's kind of. And if you play Days, they kind of try to explain that, but that's the other thing is it's not. It's still very vague and only makes sense if you play Days. So just bear that in mind.
I know.
Also, another thing I would like to point out before we move on, Namine is the most relevant she is ever going to be in this entire series. Unless 3 does something major with her, absolutely nothing is done with her in future games. Now, 2 does a little bit with her, but not much.
Yeah, that's sad about her. I still don't know what she is. She's supposed to be Kyrie's
I don't know. She's supposed to be Kyra's nobody, but we don't know. But I don't get the whole memory altering power. I don't know where that comes from.
Well, maybe this is where fan speculation gets into the play, and Kyrie is a princess of heart. So that's that problem. There's that problem there. I mean, and future things might connect if you've seen certain trailers.
It may make sense eventually, but right now I'm just like I don't get the mind altering power. It just seems really random. Like, oh, she has this special power for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a little hacked in.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Here's the thing. What do you make of the organization? Because I feel like I can't talk about them without being biased. Because I don't.
Being a fan of memories.
Yeah.
I can't fully appreciate them here because they're just anime villains. That's all they are.
That's kind of my problem with them throughout the whole series. But here
I can make an argument for them in 2, but
yeah.
But in here, they have no context behind them, and it's just hard to get behind them. I don't get why Marluxia is as powerful as he is.
No, that's another problem. The evolution feels way too fast. Because, okay, I can, okay, here's the thing. I mean, I can see where would you buy... Sorry, I'm talking too fast. Where you would buy it because of Ansem. Although, I've actually read some, behind the scenes stuff. Apparently, they weren't gonna do Ansem originally in the first early drafts, because of just it was really just gonna be they kill Maleficent and then the princesses go free and the princes rescue them.
Oh, you mean in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Yeah, the Ansem thing.
Well, originally the final villain was supposed to be Chernobog from Fantasia.
I know.
That was the original draft.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I would have loved that. Yeah.
So
that's definitely a problem. But no, I had a point. Sorry, I lost it and I got it back. My problem is that the concept of the organization, I don't feel is naturally added into the series. Even if you do watch Burst by Sleep for
I get
because you go from this Final Fantasy meets Disney concept, and then you just jump to more full-on anime villains with the hair and the coats and the no expression. I'm sure people are gonna hate me for that, and I know certain franchises do that. I mean, Star Wars and A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back is a click of evolution, but I think that evolution feels a lot more natural. Even though Episode 4 is separate from it does.
Well, that's because they're set up for it. I feel like had there been set up for the organization and nobody's in.
Now, technically, there was in the free final mix with that. Remember?
Yeah,
but I don't feel it's good enough. It's just
I don't
Random.
feel like it just feels too. It feels tacked in and it doesn't offer much.
I know, like I think they should have like added hints to like there being this organization. Maybe like I would have done it like this just because it's me and I like doing stuff with the Disney villains. Like I would have loved it if during one of their meetings, the Disney Council villains of meetings, like somebody like Jafar or Hades had mentioned like another one of those hooded guys got in the way again earlier in Maleficent. Like
Yeah,
she mentions them, like she doesn't consider them a threat because Maleficent's like they're still in the shadows, the organization. Like they're not active like they become in two.
yeah.
But although, which is funny, like here's another like that's another thing. The organization becomes active around two, and yet they've been around for such a long time. And Maleficent's been doing.
They don't feel like they've been around a long
I know,
time.
like Cat Maleficent, like just like mentioned them off the cuff, like oh, another rival faction she has to put up with, even though she's in the midst of her grand scheme. Because right,
Yeah.
because it makes sense that Maleficent right now is in the middle of her grand scheme. Actually, no, that they're the problem where we get the and we'll add this to Birth by Sleep, and I'll mention this again. Maleficent feels like her plans are just happening now. That kind of feels a bit odd. But maybe that's a Birth by Sleep problem. I don't know. I'll get to that later then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my big problem with the organization as a whole, but especially in Chain of Memories. They don't feel like they've been naturally added. This doesn't feel like a continuation.
It doesn't feel like a natural progression.
Yeah. It works in two, but that's because by then I feel like they have the whole universe set up by now.
Exactly. It works more in 2 than it does in Chain of Memories because in Chain of Memories these are new people. I remember when Axel came on for the first time. I always thought he was this, just this really badass. Just you don't talk bad to this guy or else he'll get in your way. And then when I cut to 2, I find out that's not the case at all, and he's actually really there's a different guy under that exterior.
Yeah. Well, Axel's character's a bit odd. Well, yeah, Axel. When I saw Axel, I guess I could see some of the connections with two. Like he wasn't the worst of the worst. Um.
But he was just there to be there.
Yeah.
2 is basically where he really gets
Yeah.
more.
But I mean, I mean, that's my whole problem with the organization. Like, Axel doesn't feel like a guy who would naturally live in the Kingdom Hearts universe just by going off of one.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I can believe Leon and his gang, and Cloud.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think of the Riku replica?
I liked him better in Riku's story than I did in Sora. The whole part of him in Sora's story, I get what they're trying to do, but it just felt it felt like a waste of time. And I hate saying that because I actually kind of like the end scene with him and Sora. But overall, he's just really there to be there, just to give us, it's there to fake us out. And that's really all it's there for.
Yeah, I agree. I do like him. Riku's story is the best. I feel like, again, it's one of those games. I feel like all the side games, with the exception of Sleep, should be about Riku, and just cut Sora out.
Main game Sora, side games Riku.
Exactly. Now I guess unless you have any more problems with Chain of Memories,
We should move on to 2.
yeah, okay, 2. Okay, this is interesting because 2 is the game I started with. I don't know how I started with it. I just did. It's sort of, I always start out of order. It's so odd. But let's start with my biggest problem right off the bat. I hated the tutorial. I hated the tutorial so much because, like, I feel like I was spending hours or days because I wasn't playing like for hours on end, just stuck in this town. Or like, I bought a game for Disney characters. Dang it, give me my Disney characters.
Well, the thing with that, I can understand where you're coming from because when I first started playing it, I was bored out of my mind playing that. Roxas's story is much better appreciated on multiple playings, but it's very weak on a first playthrough.
Yeah, I like Roxas. That's the thing. I think I might like him more than Sora in some areas, but we'll get to that in the next game.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, like I'm like, okay, why am I following these kids, these anime kids? I call them anime kids, but because they are. Like I don't care about you people, and like I got excited when we started seeing the flashbacks to the Disney characters. Like, oh yay, flashbacks to the Disney characters. Like, oh man, but then finally when we got to the Disney stuff, I'm like, okay, finally we're getting to the good stuff. Um, so yeah, sorry, I interrupted you there.
It's basically a prologue.
Yeah.
And it's very, very long, especially if for someone who's never played. I can see that people being turned off. They're like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I know.
Next, this is where the point. Chain of Memory is supposed to start. This is where the worlds basically become filler. They're basically there for a side character development, which you kind of need in games like this, but they take it to two extremes by not having them that involved. Now I'm going to give more because I know people are going to lash at me for saying this. Yes, some of the worlds have more interaction on some of the second viewings than others, but
my problem. Sorry, you go.
But the issue is they're there to be there just for the namesake, and that kind of gets.
Yeah, like okay, perfect example. Agrabah, first game, perfect. I know I'm being biased again because Aladdin is my favorite movie. Full disclosure. But I think people. No, I think I can make. You have to. I think you can make an objectable argument that.
Yeah, you can.
Agrabah is in Kingdom Hearts 1 is the best integrated world of the entire game.
I agree.
It's important for the story in terms of getting the princess. Jafar is a part of Maleficent's organization of evil. Maleficent shows up at the beginning and kind of you learn more about the villain's plans.
I think
it's Riku's further start at his descent towards the dark side.
The issue here becomes they continued the trend of just retelling the movies in game form, and that gets really old after a while, and that's all they eventually become. And you could argue that Agrabah in the first game was that way too, but there was more to it than that.
Well, they used the outline of Aladdin wants the princess, he wants to be a prince, but then they kind of just did their own thing.
Yeah, and that's what I wish they would do with more of these worlds. And from what I'm hearing with 3, that is probably what we're going to get, and that's inspiring, especially with the if any of you follow the development, the whole thing with the Big Hero 6 world, it looks like we're apparently going to be getting that.
I hope so. Now, to be fair, some of even the worlds that did do their original thing, sorry, sprinklers are outside if you can hear anything, also, by the way, I just wanted to continue my point, Agrabah in Kingdom Hearts 2, pointless, it's just Return of Jafar. No, seriously, it's the story of Return of Jafar down to Iago. We watch Return of Jafar, Cole, next time and think of Kingdom Hearts 2.
I do. I think of it every time I watch it.
Okay, now, but even the worlds that are doing their own thing, like Beast Castle, because Beast Castle isn't following the story of Beauty and the Beast, it still feels like filler. And that's my problem with Kingdom Hearts in a nutshell. It's like, I'm gonna get so much flack from this because Red's gonna make fun of me if he hears me say this. But it's Star Wars Rebels Season 2. You have the big important stuff at the beginning, all scrunched at the beginning, filler, a middle part that's all important, filler, the ending, which is important. Kingdom Hearts 2, same thing. Beginning Twilight Town, important. Yensid's Tower, important. Hollow Bastion, important. All that's in the beginning, right?
And then Hollow Bastion again, Twilight Town again, and
World of
the World of Oz.
Exactly. And I feel, and that's why I always will say Kingdom Hearts has a nudge over the first game, and the second game, even though I feel like both stories, I could make the argument that both stories are probably the strongest, is because Kingdom Hearts 1, I felt the momentum was going. Like, we constantly had momentum. And I don't feel like we have momentum. And not only do I feel like I'm going to go on a rant, I'm sorry, Cole. I know I think you like Kingdom Hearts 2 probably more. But my problem also is that I don't feel there's any stakes. I don't feel the stakes, even when we're told there's stakes. They
add stakes to try to give us more stakes, and it's just retreads from the first game.
No, it's not retreads. Like, okay, spoiler.
Well, yeah, the Kyrie thing, yeah.
Well, the Kyrie thing, yeah. The Kyrie Riku thing, definitely. But I'm talking about, okay, spoiler. In the middle, you learn that Sora has been inadvertently helping the organization by killing Heartless, right?
And that becomes irrelevant by the later half.
It doesn't just become irrelevant by the later half. It becomes irrelevant the minute you leave Hollow Bastion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we never, like, Sora never, like, do I hit, like, I want Sora to be like when he confronts Heartless, not only just in Hollow Bastion, like, you know how they did that? They kind of, Sora's kind of questioning whether or not he should hit the Heartless, and then
Yeah, yeah.
Maleficent saves him. That should be in every world. Like, there should be a cutscene of Sora, like, do I want to fight, or do I just run? Like that, he should be going through that in his head. Like his whole
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And to that point, I have to agree. The stakes after that are very hackneyed, and I will say this, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this. As much as I love the Organization 13 stuff, you think about it for a little bit. You're like, what? It's, just for this, and think about it with this game alone, not thinking of the other games. So what if they get hearts? What happens then?
Well,
Like, what,
I think the point is if they get Hearts, they can still get Kingdom Hearts. It makes no sense.
I guess.
I never understood what that plan was
I
about.
never understood it, but they just said they can truly exist. I never got that, so I thought to myself, okay, what do they get? World domination? Because that doesn't seem to be what they want. Because the way Syx acts at the when he gets killed, he makes it explicit. He just wants a heart. That's all he wants.
And okay, here's the thing. I think I know. I think I can finally do my little war with the organization and the Disney villains, but not come out too biased and be like as fair as possible. The organization's goals, the concept of the goals, are interesting. I won't deny that. The whole idea of do you exist without a heart is interesting. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is where the Disney villains have the advantage, or Maleficent does, because it's kind of her thing. She has the basic, simpler goal that you can understand. She wants to take over the world. It's basically capture 7 princesses, open the door to ultimate power, take over the world. That's it. That's all she wants. And that kind of makes sense, I think. That makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
And also,
It's easier to grasp.
it's easier to grasp. And I think also the problem is I never get the sense that the organization is a presence throughout the game. I kind of had that problem. Um, I mean I like even if they talk about them, I don't feel their presence. Even if the Beast World has who has
The other issue too with it is if you actually look at the enemy log in the Kingdom Hearts, you'll find there are not many nobody classes. There are very, very little nobodies in this game. And you rarely ever fight them.
also Heartless. They feel downgraded in this game.
Yes,
Like,
which to be fair might be the point.
yeah, I guess they
But
kind of did retcon it because the Zenith said, your last adventure stopped immense fusion of Heartless from the Great Darkness.
yeah,
Like, and that's kind of the light-hearted tone of Kingdom Hearts 2, which I feel is to its detriment because that's why another reason why I like Kingdom Hearts 1. It has the darker tone. It has the stakes. Um, but also just to get back on my point a bit about presence of the organization. Not the nobodies. I'm actually talking about the actual hooded guys.
well,
It,
yeah, no. What I meant though is that you could have presence by having a variety of nobodies in there and having them command them and having them maybe to just this would be a retcon, sure, but have them be throughout the world, interfering with people's lives and people
yeah,
and them teaming up to stop them. That would have worked.
like okay. And I know I'm doing the thing again where I compare it to Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm sorry, I have to do it. It's kind of my thing.
It's hard not
I
to.
know. Okay, you know how in Kingdom Hearts 1, Maleficent always showed up? Like, she appears in those after credit scenes of the worlds, but also in the actual world of Traverse Town, Agrabah, Monstro, and she's mentioned in Neverland, and of course Hollow Bastion. Um, I feel like she has more of a presence in that
And
game.
Olympus Coliseum.
Oh yeah, at the end of Olympus Coliseum. It's like she has more presence in that game and I just feel like the Heartless do as well, but maybe that's because they're everywhere. Than the organization do. And I just don't feel like Xemnas. I don't feel like the organization is threatening. I
And
don't.
to be fair, this might be just wildly speculating. That might have been the point, but that doesn't provide for a very good storytelling.
It doesn't provide for a very good villain, either.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though people love Xemnas' voice, that's like
Paul
okay.
St. Peter is a great voice actor, by the way. I love. He's the voice of Kurama and Naruto. He's the voice of Clavis Alucard from Blaze Blue. He's a great voice actor,
Right.
but
I don't think the villains are threatening. I mean, to be fair, you could make fun of the Disney villains all you want. I mean, Ursula and Oogie Boogie feel kind of fillery, but and Maleficent was like threat. She was threatening. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like even if they weren't like intimidating, like on a physical level or just like an acting level, I still felt there were stakes in the first game from just the Heartless and whatever evil they're going to unleash.
and the other issue too is that the first game had stars were going in and out, and there was stakes that the worlds were all going to disappear. And this game, it doesn't. You don't have that.
No, I don't feel like there's any apocalyptic event going to happen at all.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like when Sora is going through the world, it's like, la la la, having adventures, having some fun. And that's another problem. Sora, he is too happy. He's way too happy in this game.
And dumb.
And
Very, very dumb.
And here's the thing. I like Happy Sora. Don't get me wrong. I like it when Sora's happy. Because I feel like the first game made him too dour. And
He was a little too brooding and
exactly, he's kind of like Batman. He's Batman. He's Batman Sora. Just kidding. But here he's way way too jokey. He's way too gullible.
without there being any reason for him to be.
And know what's funny? People bring this up all the time, and I'm going to bring this up. Goofy though is wise. Like he is the voice of reason.
He is a badass at times.
I know he is like. Even him and Mickey, like this is like the one time.
And that's the one praise I'll sing for too. That's another praise I'll sing for too. They made Mickey a mouse, a cartoon mouse, into a badass.
He gets more to do in this game, and I'm happy for that. I mean, I don't hate the fact that in KH1 he doesn't get only till the end. I feel like they earned it.
When he's part of the quest.
They earned it. They earned that reveal at end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and I feel like his presence is always there. Like, see, that's the thing. They've made Mickey's presence felt throughout the entire first game. They just always talked about him, and I felt like he was relevant. Like, you don't have to show your villains in order to make them feel their presence known. Mickey never appeared in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, he's not the bad guy. That'd be a twist. But Mickey never shows up in the first game until like the last 5 minutes. And yet his presence is felt throughout the entire game. Like they just always mention the king. The king wants us to do this. The king's doing that. We need to do this for the king. Oh, it's the king's lackeys. His presence is felt. And even though he's the hero and the organization are the bad guys, I don't feel their presence are felt.
The other issue I'll point to, just to add this on, and like you said, there are any stakes, and also to add to that, you never felt like Sora and the gang are actually challenged.
Oh, that I mentioned. I think I talked about that when I talked about stake. But yeah, I never feel any like dread. Like, there's no stakes. Like, again.
I mean, Sora, this is the guy, keep in mind, who could take down 1,000 Heartless.
There's a Gary Stu moment for you.
I mean, so,
I don't mind. I like the 1,000 Heartless gameplay, though. That's a cool.
But also adds to the problem of, well, how are you going to challenge this guy after that?
I know. I feel like as single-handedly, I feel like Sora, Goofy, Donald. I feel like that. Sorry, I need to think. That event would have been served so much better if Mickey, Sora, Donald, Goofy, Leon, the others whose names I always forget, were all there at once.
You saw them all there at once instead of just a montage.
Although that could have been where Maleficent's boss battle could have happened. That's another thing that's just a personal pet peeve. I don't like the fact Maleficent gets downgraded. I feel like she should have had like a big hurrah, or at least a big stake in that Battle of 1,000 Heartless, because doesn't she start that? I don't know who starts the Battle of 1,000 Heartless.
I can't remember now that I think about it.
Because in the okay, here's the thing: in the manga,
I think
it's
it is Maleficent. Yeah.
it seems like it's Maleficent. Because okay, the Battle of a Thousand Heartless is a bit confusing story wise because I'm never quite sure what's going on. Because one moment it feels like it's Maleficent's doing because she's there at the beginning commanding the Heartless, and then all of a sudden the organization takes over. Like what? Wait, when did this happen? Like I feel like her presence needed to be there more. Like she needed to be more involved.
And
And then
also, I have to add this in. Also, I have to add this in. Syx being able to summon Heartless at will. How are they having any issues with getting hearts from Sora at that point?
well, they need them to be killed. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, but they can just summon Heartless in front of Sora, and they can just kill him. I mean, if they're gonna attack him, he's gonna have to defend himself and probably kill a few in the long run.
That's true. That's true. That's another problem. Like, okay, I understand the idea of the Heartless align with whoever's the strongest. That makes sense. That seems like
Yeah,
Minions 101. But they're
but the
out.
logic behind the whole plot behind that doesn't make any
But
sense.
they summon Heartless before Maleficent gets kicked out of Heartless chain of command. Um, because I don't know exactly what happened with her and the Heartless after that. Like, she seemed to lose control, but they were already doing the organization's bidding from the start. So,
Yeah.
and then I could get into other things of how the other villains aren't like interacting with the other villains, but that we already talked about the world. So, boy, we ragged on Kingdom Hearts 2 a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, and
Uh,
let's see. Was there anything else we have to?
let me check.
Yes, there are. There's one other thing I have to point out here that we'll get into in DDD. The Organization 13 plot, as problematic as it is, gets ruined by in Dream Drop Distance.
Oh yes, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later, believe me, because I'll have a lot to say on that regard.
But now
So
let's
let's.
go back to the past to Burst by Sleep. Okay. So here's the thing about Burst by Sleep. I kind of like it. I kind of like it a little bit more than two, and might be blasphemy. Um, okay. Because people, okay, one guy compared Burst by Sleep to the Star Wars prequels. Um, I don't think it's a compliment. Sorry, Red, if you're listening to this. I don't agree, or well, I kind of agree, but not in the ways of just thinking the Star Wars prequels are bad. I'm just thinking from a story perspective. They kind of are. Terra's Anakin, Xehanort's Palpatine, Aqua's Obi-Wan, Ven is I don't know Ahsoka. Padme.
Padme.
Padme. No, she's Padme. Oh God.
Yeah, she's Padme. He's Padme.
She is. She is. Master Ericus is both Yoda and he's voiced by Mark Hamill.
Yes,
But yeah, okay. That being said, I do kind of like Burst by Sleep, and actually, I was kind of excited for Burst by Sleep.
I was too.
Um,
I was really looking forward to Birth by Sleep, and I like it, and I still like it to this day. I like it. I hold it.
there are story elements I like, very much
Yes,
like the prequels. There are a lot of story elements I like. Um, and I like the concepts and the ideas.
yes. However, the issue with Birth by Sleep becomes in its execution and how it tries to present those ideas, and it's not always the smoothness, and it's not always the most sensical.
Well, that's the problem with writing backwards in general. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I have always been a defender of the idea of prequels can work. I think you can do a prequel. It's just
Yeah,
that you need a very, very, very good writer to make it work and make it so that it connects to what you are trying to prequel, I guess. That doesn't sound right. X-Men First Class does it pretty well, even though that's supposed to really be a reboot that they made a prequel
Here's
later.
Edge Catalyst, from what I've played, does it really well.
Okay, there's one. And, well, the Hobbit's debatable. It's not bad.
Yeah, not available.
But yeah, this is kind of like The Hobbit too, in that this game's more
Yeah,
debatable. But this game does suffer a lot from prequelitis. You know, that kind of like, oh, we need to set this up because we're gonna this appears in the next game. Ooh, look at that, it's
yeah.
cool.
This game really, really binges on that fact, and it gets old after a while.
Best example, Enchanted Dominion.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I understand you need to set up Maleficent, and I'm glad that her world seems like it's important. And well, if you've played the game, right, or at least
Yes, I played the game.
like I'm kind of iffy on the rest of the world, like Cinderella, Snow White, and Peter Pan, but Enchanted Forest always felt like the most important world to visit because I felt like it's setting something up bigger, just by the way Maleficent talks, um, the way she
Enchanted Dominion.
Enchanted Dominion, just by the way Maleficent talks, the way she talks about how Master Xehanort explained things, the way how she's interested in now taking over the universe.
And
That's
that's the.
oh sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, no,
You go
no.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, that's the prequelitis talking
Yeah,
a lot.
and part of the thing too, and what we were saying with the this is another carry problem from the from two is that you don't really feel Xehanort's presence all that much. They tried to beat you over the head, but it doesn't feel natural in a lot of respects, especially in the twists and turns that it takes that you know are going to take. So it's not really a twist and turn. It just doesn't really. It doesn't really gel well with the rest of the. It doesn't gel well with the rest of the game.
Right. It doesn't just gel well with the rest of the game. I think there's some probably big continuity issues. It just doesn't gel well with the rest of the universe. Like, wait,
Yeah.
Maleficent's been looking for the same princesses for 10 years. It's been 10 years, right?
Yes.
Nobody ages. There's another problem. But what? These princesses are still in their teens. Um,
Yeah. We'll
that's
get into that we'll just go on into now. The whole thing that you just got to take or leave with Kingdom Hearts is that the whole age, how people age in this game, and how stories continue to happen even hundreds of years beforehand, I think makes no sense. If that's going to be a problem, you're not going to be able to get into these games.
it's funny because some characters age, others don't. Sora's aged. Um,
Yeah, it makes no
like Sora
sense.
ages perfectly. Maleficent and the princesses don't. Like okay, I can understand Maleficent. She's already in her like what? She could be ancient for all I know. Um,
Yeah, she could.
but like what? Belle's still in her 20s or teens. Aurora looks the same as always. Nothing changed there. I mean, she might be because of the sleeping curse, but I doubt it. Or that her world got destroyed. Maybe that's why their worlds got destroyed early. Like Maleficent was
That might be it. Yeah.
like a few princesses down already by the time.
Well, we don't know when their homes got destroyed.
Right, although certain behind the scenes things make it seem like Cinderella's world got destroyed pretty early.
Yeah.
Anyway, but however, and this is where both the best thing, but also the worst thing in terms of retcons happen. Master Xehanort.
Uh Man, I love Master Xehanort. He's a great villain.
He's the best
However,
villain.
he's one of the best villains in the series. However, what he's doing makes absolutely no sense.
His entire plan is convoluted, and when we get to DDD, it's like, wait,
It's
are you God?
really out there.
Like I know, okay, like people like the Emperor from Star Wars had a complex plan, but I could follow it, and it made sense. This guy is like he has backup plan after backup plan. Like what? Did he like sit down one day and like spend a week just
He
planning
just spent
out
like a week just planning all this crap out.
every single contingency? Like it makes no sense. I would have I'd buy it more if like this is what you should have done is that okay, like I can buy Master Xehanort being like this smart guy with contingency
I
plans.
could too, but he is overly smart in what they try to set up here.
Like it should have been just more like it should have been just more off the cuff natural, like, okay, this stuff happened. How can I use some of this stuff? Like almost like the Joker. Like I'm sure he doesn't like well, okay, some comics do that, but Joker seems like the kind of villain who's like, okay, this happened, let's see how I can make this work. And that's what you should have done with Master Xehanort. Like, okay, I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but maybe I can still make this work.
Yeah.
And
Maybe if we got more scenes with him, I would buy it. But just from what little we get with him, it's very.
well, that's another problem with this game. You notice how by now we're not even talking about gameplay; we're just talking about the story. Um, But that's a problem. Is that the heroes, they don't earn their defeat, and what I mean by that is when you do a prequel where the bad guys are gonna lose. Best example
Where
would
the
be,
good guys are going to lose.
yeah, but the good guys are gonna lose, like Revenge of the Sith. Can't really think of anything else except for that in terms of most things I watch. But something like that, you need the good guys to really struggle for it. Like
Yeah.
what you need to do is you need to trick your audience into believing, wait a minute, maybe this time history will change and they'll win. That's happened to me once. I watched a movie called Operation Valkyrie. I liked it. I don't think a lot of people did, but I did. And for a moment, I thought, "Oh, maybe this time the bad guys are gonna lose. The bad lose. Hitler will be killed." Um, but that didn't happen. Of course, historical reenactment. But yeah,
Yeah.
you need the good guys to earn that defeat by making the audience or gameplay people believe they can win.
And the only time
And I never buy that.
you can believe they win through most of the game, but when you get to the end, you're like, how were they even supposed to win?
I'd argue that in Terra, he's hit with the stupid stick. I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
he
with Aqua
allies
and
with every
Ventus.
single Disney villain.
Yeah, it's very, very. He is, and we'll get to this now. Terra is the biggest idiot in the entire series, and it's kind of played that way, but it also kind of isn't. Not in the way that it really is played.
Oh, totally. Um,
It's I mean, he does. I mean, he captures a princess's heart
well,
by
to be fair, that
being
was mind control.
controlled
Oh, right, that's a problem.
by being controlled and not being able to overcome that. I mean, he never took precautions to any of these things. He's like, they're there.
And
There's no
also,
way these can be bad.
he gets tricked by Master Xehanort way too easy. I mean,
Yeah,
Master Xehanort, like, if you saw Master Xehanort, would you be like, he's totally a good guy, I should listen to him? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. Your mic kind of went.
Oh, sorry. I said, it's when you look at Master Xehanort, the first thing you think, wow, this guy's up to something.
Oh, totally. And, like, there's even a scene where Master Xehanort, like, Terra turns around, I think, and Master Xehanort goes through the portal of darkness. And I remember watching a playthrough of that, and one of the commentators go, "Oh, that's not totally evil." And, okay, here's the thing, though. The stuff Master Xehanort says, you can kind of buy. I mean, it's like Riku's. It's all the stuff Riku has kind of proven. Like, darkness isn't evil. It's just the person who wields it. That's the problem.
Yeah. But the further and further Terra buys into some of the stuff Master Xehanort said, I'm like, okay, this is you're just being naive at this point.
Yeah, and the other characters, I'm not. Terra's the worst. He had the worst.
Yes, he's the worst. Yes, he's the worst.
Ven, I don't have many problems with Ven. I like Ven. I think I like him more than Sora in some cases.
I can agree. I can agree with that.
I don't feel like he gets hit with the stupid stick the same way Sora does, and I believe his naivete a bit.
Well, that's how he's played. He's played to be a little naive. Terra isn't.
Right, and Aqua, I don't know. Would you argue Aqua's kind of bland?
Yes.
That
might be because that might be the voice actress's fault.
Because she's a bit like she's the Obi-Wan without the charisma of Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, she's in the Japanese version. She has a great voice actor, and you buy that she's a very enthusiastic but also cautious, and you buy it. And also the other thing people also mention, this game was designed to probably play it in a certain order. Like if you play it in Terra, Aqua, then you're probably not going to get the same enjoyment as if you play it as Terra, then and Aqua. Those are the three. That's the way it should be played.
Oh, totally. I agree with that. I once actually saw a cool clip of Kingdom Hearts called Birth by Sleep chronological order, and the guy pretty much edited all the cutscenes together in a chronological order. So
Oh wow.
yeah, he did a pretty good job. They didn't even make it seem like there were like edits and stuff. What was I
Now
talking?
the one thing I'll say about Terra, I like his fight with uh
Xehanort?
with Ericus.
Oh, Ericus.
I really um I don't buy that Ericus would go to such extremes.
Another thing, yeah, that's a problem. Even though it's voiced by Mark Hamill, but still.
Yeah, he's a great voice. Mark Hamill's a great voice actor. He's voice acted in many things. He's a
It's
great
Mark Hamill.
actor.
It's Mark Hamill, dude.
It's Mark Hamill, so
It's a joke.
but and he's great here. But the character wise, I'm just like and part of that is I don't get enough with Ericus. I don't get why he's doing some of this.
Yeah. Actually, although thinking about it, I wonder if some of that will rub off in Episode 8 with Luke Skywalker, but maybe less crazy. But that's another discussion. Because I have this whole theory that Luke
Um,
is going to be kind of unhinged, a little bit. I mean, he does look a little unhinged, but that's off topic.
yeah, but anyway, like I said, if you played this game out of the game basically shoots itself in the foot by doing the 3 solo story arcs thing because it makes the game feel very disjointed.
Who do you think it should have focused on?
I think Aqua should have been the main person.
Really, I would argue Ben. I feel like he's the most important in terms of.
Well, in terms of what things happen with Aqua, I think just event wise, she would have been the main character. You could have made that work, either her or then.
Yeah, like that's kind of the thing because just from a narrative, each one has an important thing. Terra
Yeah.
is probably the most important for setting up the villain. Ven's important for setting up the hero of our story. And if Kingdom Hearts is going to be primarily Sora's story, I would probably argue Ven. Because Aqua doesn't set up anything.
That's true.
Because Aqua doesn't set up anything except for maybe Kyrie. But
Yeah.
even then, that's kind of like a last minute thing.
True.
I guess since we're talking about it, what about we want to talk a little about Vanitas? Any problem?
Ooh,
Any problem?
Vanitas, Haley Joel Osment as a villain is such an interesting image, and he kills it as Vanitas. And Vanitas, from you have to read other stuff too. I buy most of everything from Vanitas.
I think I like the fact he's just completely insane.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, but that's what makes him fun.
And it's interesting, he's the fun kind of psychopath. Like it's kind of the anime villain I like. That fun psychopath.
Yeah.
Like there's certain psychopaths in anime I don't like. I just don't feel like they have the charisma. This is a fun one.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment.
But he's like the
kills it
Yami
here.
Bakura of Kingdom Hearts, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I think he has actually probably the best plan of the game.
He does.
I know he's part of Master Xehanort's plan, but I think he's got his own agenda.
Well, he does, yeah. And hopefully we'll see him again.
I want him to have his own agenda in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I hope so too.
I want him to be like the wild card of that series.
Yes, make him the wild card. You hear it at Square. Do that.
Right. Okay.
Shall we move on?
Okay, let's move on to Days. But I think I can't really review this one because this is the game I have the least experience with. I never played it. Actually, I never played the rest of them after 2. And I didn't really follow too much of the story because I kind of forgot about it.
I'll say this about Days. It works as a self-contained story involving Roxas, but with Shion being added to the mix, it kind of sets up for more stuff. And it could have worked had D&D not happened, and that's all I'll say about Days.
Right. I can't really think of complaints because I don't really have any because I never played the game, and I don't really know the story, so we kind of have to move on, I guess, unless...
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much to say about Days. Also, we're going to move on from Coded immediately, too. So, all we'll say about Coded, it should not exist. It does. Okay.
I would make one more caveat, though. If you watch the cutscene theater in the 2.8...
No, 2.5.
2.5, they do add a little thing involving Maleficent and what her plot is to both Kingdom Hearts 3 and why she appears in Days. And that's it. Okay, now we go. Now we can move on. 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. 2 days in the future. Okay, now Days. I was actually kind of excited for this one as well because
No,
now we're fine.
you mean Dreamed Up Distance.
Dreamed out distance, right? Duh. I always get confused. Dreamed up distance. DD. I'm gonna call it DD or da da da. I'm probably gonna call it da 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 because that's the one I hear the most. 3D. There's 3D. I'll call it 3D. I'll call it all three. I was looking forward to this the most because, like, finally we're moving forward. We're gonna finally move forward.
Yeah.
Thank Kevin's. No more side game, midquels or prequels. We're gonna finally move forward. I was excited because we're getting some new worlds. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Master Xehanort come back. Yay! We finally get to see what his reaction to everything in the future now because the past is the past and now we see everything that he's done being undone. But now it has to be redone. And when I watched it, at first I enjoyed it because I thought I got it when I saw Master Xehanort do his thing in the game. When it was pretty much how how the world of that never was is pretty much one big exposition dump by the end.
Yes.
Like I kind of enjoyed that because I thought I was getting some plot and I do like what they are setting up. Think I think I like it. But the more I talk to people and the more I think about it, the execution and just it kind of starts crumbling a bit. To a lot. To
Yeah.
maybe all the whole thing.
To start, the time travel gets thrown into the mix because why not?
Exactly. You know you're in trouble when you do time travel. Like, that's just kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Like this sort of okay, you've made Master Xehanort OP as all heck.
Yes.
He is that smart. He can he should have won. Like how is he losing?
He should have won.
He should have. He time traveled. How this should not happen. Um okay, what? So his younger self is doing what now? Like I didn't understand any of that. How in the heck is he connected to Master Xehanort's Heartless? Why is that there? I understand the why. Okay, so Master Xehanort manipulated the villains to steal the princesses, and he's gonna clash them. What now? That's the thing. I thought I got it, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm confused. What happened?
Yeah, and I will sum this up for everybody who doesn't get it. Basically, what Master Xehanort's plan is to have 13 darknesses and their 7 lights clash together to bring about the Keyblade, the X-Blade, the Kai-Blade, whatever you want to call it, so he can summon Kingdom Hearts, have control over it, and start the Keyblade War for some reason that we don't know yet.
I think he wants to reboot. I think he wants to reboot the universe. I think that is the plan. I think that's the plan. He wants to see what's going to happen.
That's amazing, Joel.
To be fair, I think we kind of all want to reboot the universe. No. Well, maybe. But no, isn't that the plan? He wants to see what happens after you destroy the universe.
I don't know. I don't know why he wants the Keyblade War so badly.
I don't know.
I don't get.
I know it's all part of a I think it's supposed to be part of some science experiment that just sounds horrible.
He's experimenting with the universe.
I think that's what he's doing. I honestly think that's what he's doing. He's somewhat of a god already. Let's just go all way, the whole way.
And since we've touched on that story, we might as well touch on the other big issue I have with this game. They destroy the original Organization 13 plan in any sense that it had, and they make Xemnas the biggest asshole in existence. Uh-huh. And also we have to touch on this, and I can't believe I haven't touched on this before. We've also just completely retconned that. We just completely added on the fact that Sora killed people in 2.
I guess you're right. Now that you're saying, well, technically he killed people in 1. He killed Ursula and Maleficent. Well, Riku kind of did that. So I guess he killed people in the first game.
Yeah, and we don't deal with that. We never deal with that at all. The fact that Sora has made some morally questionable choices.
Yeah, it's like the Flash on Arrow. Oh god.
Well, let's not open that can of worms.
Oh boy, I did. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the hearts with the organization thing at first, but maybe that's because I just don't care about the organization, and I do care about Master Xehanort because he's like the fun kind of cheesy villain that you just love to
But
write
the
through.
fact that
But
nobody
yeah,
can cultivate hearts, I'm like, why? What does this add? It adds to your plot, sure, but it doesn't add anything thematically. It doesn't add anything like character wise. I don't get what this adds.
exactly. Also though, I think I kind of like this. You do realize that Master Xehanort's ripping off Harry Potter.
I don't know Harry Potter.
All right. Well, okay. So, what he's doing is, I mean, I hope Lo watches this. I want Lo to watch this so maybe she'll agree with me. Um, Basically, what he's doing is he's putting part of his heart in these people, and while it's sort of like doing the Horcruxes, which is Voldemort putting parts of his soul into specific objects, except they're not people. Because isn't the point that all the organization members are becoming Xehanort?
Yes.
Which kind of makes sense and kind of doesn't at the same time. I just think it's kind of silly when you think about it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, there was no setup for that to
Like,
possibly take place.
oh wait, I think I know why the time travel thing happened. Aren't all the organization members Xehanort? I don't get it.
I think, unless the
Except for Bragg and Syax.
and possibly if the other members, which haven't been named, are the other Keyblade Masters from the Unchained era.
It's possible. But are they Xehanort now?
Probably.
I guess. I mean, there's young Xehanort as well. Um, this is confusing. And they want to make Sora into Xehanort?
Yeah. I'll touch on this too. I like the fact that Sora possibly going to the dark side. That might be an element they explore in 3, but here it just seems like just something they can do just to put the Riku and them
Battle.
into battle. That's all it is.
Well, if you want to do this smartly, and that's a scary thing because I don't know if they're going to, what you do, and it's something I strangely saw in a fan fiction, but it kind of made sense. You make it that Venus is somehow inside Sora, and he wants to come out. Now, he's been reawakened, because, it seems like Ven's getting reawakened. Oh, that's another thing I hate. Phineas is completely wasted. Why is he here? Why does he get that one cameo? And why is he part of Master Xehanort's body?
We don't know.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I kind of wanted that Venus is inside Sora's head or heart, whatever, his soul, whatever, and that he is now becoming reawakened, and he's going to control Sora, and then by the end, he gets his own body and stuff like that.
Right.
Sort of like what happened to Ven. Because that makes sense.
It does make sense.
But here's the thing. You gotta agree with me, right, that this should have just been Riku's game.
Yes.
Riku's the star of this, no doubt. He gets to,
and I could be made to buy that Sora could have gotten a good part in this, but and this is another problem I'll say with the game, they dumbed down Sora even further here. It's kind of hilarious how dumb he acts in this game.
But he just doesn't serve a point. I mean, okay, here's the weird thing. You're noticing as the game evolves, and we talked about this, back to our old theme, Riku's becoming more of the star. He actually became the Keyblade Master. Sora didn't.
And then they retroactively, I think, state in an interview that Sora took a test to make him a Keyblade Master, so he'll be a Keyblade Master in 3.
Really? Oh, I was hoping that would be like a source of bitterness or something.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
I mean, to be fair, I don't see Sora as a bitter person. Just in terms of his character, but I kind of would have liked that.
I would have liked going for him just to be happy with Riku getting
well, he was. I think he was.
What he was, because I like the parallels between him and Terra.
Yeah, which is funny because Riku and Terra should be the ones with parallels, and they kind of are.
Yeah, they kind of are, but Riku's the better version of Terra.
Exactly. And also, we just gotta touch on Hunchback because, oh, poor Hunchback, it got so watered down.
And to be fair, it kind of had to in the game we got.
I know, but like I was thinking about this a few nights ago. I would have loved, and to be fair, this would only happen in a fanfic. What I kind of would do is like you tell the story of Hunchback, but if you want to like integrate it with the rest of the world, you first of all you have Frollo get a thing for Kyrie because Kyrie's kind of always wearing risque outfits, and I don't think Frollo sees stuff like that. And then you can do
Oh,
the
we're
whole
gonna
thing.
get so many hate comments. It's gonna be great.
No, we're gonna get a lot of shipping comments. Shipping comments.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of
Fro
shippers.
Kyrie. I don't know. We never talked about the relationship between the main trio, but we'll get that in the overview.
Yeah.
But what? And then what you do is like I mean, come on, you could add the dark anime influences, like all that good stuff. Would be great.
Yeah.
But no, it's just Frollo. He wants control. He likes order. Well, he kind of wants that in the game, but it's not about the gypsies. It's not about like the Heartless could be like a religious thing, and I know you wouldn't go that far because you can't,
Yeah.
not in today's world. But I just like then don't do Hunchback at all. Do Black Cauldron then.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like to see Black Cauldron in 3, but that's a different story.
And I'll go ahead and state this now. Keyblades for everyone, as a commenter said it. Everybody has a Keyblade now and is getting a Keyblade. Your mother is getting a Keyblade. Your grandmother's getting a Keyblade. You'll be getting a Keyblade. Keyblades for everyone.
Yeah, whatever happened to the Keyblades choosing their own? Oh, to be fair, they kind of retconned that in Burst by Sleep when Terra did like a little ritual, which is not a ritual at all.
Which, if we knew more about the ways of a Keyblade, which they're trying to do in Unchained, but I haven't played through that enough to know.
I'm just gonna wait for the walkthrough. But that's the thing. Keyblades in the first game felt sentient. They chose who they were.
Yes.
They and that's the thing. They went to one went to Sora, but then because Riku went to the dark side, but then they went back to Riku because of his strengths, but then they went back to Sora because Riku went to the dark side. And kind of like that, and then they just should have popped up.
Yeah.
Oh, let me think. I gotta think of more about days. Worlds are pointless again.
Yeah, DDD.
Maleficent gets a terrible cameo.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like you go from this great villain in the first game. You were the main antagonist. Well, you weren't technically, but you were for a good chunk. You were technically for a good chunk of it. And you were going to be for the original draft. Then you kind of got watered down in 2, but you still had some presence. And then now you're just a cameo. If you had more presence in Encoded, it's true. If you watch the cutscenes Encoded, she's a big part of that. By the midway point. Somebody, again, a playthrough put it. She and Peter, Team Rocket of Kingdom Hearts. maybe more. It's sad but true. What were your issues with the monster pet things?
I like the idea of it, and it works to some degree. I just wish we got more customization efforts with.
Apparently, it's supposed to be a big part of the main game. Oh,
it is.
We never talked about this. Even though you have played Dream Drop Distance?
Yes.
What is your issues with the switching of characters? I forgot what it's called.
Oh, it is. I would have been fine with them doing the the Birth by Sleep thing of having you play through one story first and then you play through the next. I would have loved that, and of course we didn't do it.
Can't you set that or prevent that though? Is it like a thing?
You can, but even so, it costs money.
Oh, dang.
Not real money, but it costs in-game money.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea with terrible execution because you could be in the middle of you could be in a boss battle, mind you, drop to another and then drop back again. It's very.
Oh, that just sounds like a horrible idea.
It was a good idea and was just terribly executed.
Wow, that does sound bad. Okay. I can't think of anything else for da-da-da. I like what they... I do like... Okay. This goes back to the whole everybody gets a Keyblade thing. What do you make of Kyrie getting a Keyblade and becoming like a warrior?
Uh, I guess it's cool the trio getting all three having keyblades and kind of doing the parallel with Aquaterra and Ventus. I guess that's cool. And I'll see what they do with it in the next game. And
I think
but
Kyrie
as
looks.
of right,
I think I see
as
Kyrie.
of
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
uh,
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say. I think Kyrie kind of looks the hottest in this version. Like her darker hair. I don't know something about her.
yes,
She just looks so much more mature. Um.
yes.
Sorry. You go for. I interrupted you.
But we'll see what's done with it. It's a hard thing to really comment on without knowing the execution of it right yet.
I know. Like I'm not against the idea of Axel. Oh, here's the thing. Axel joining the group.
Maybe we'll see.
Cause he's kind of important. I mean, he's
He
sort
kind
of
of is,
like I
and
would
I
love
like
to.
the fact that Lee is kind of is going. I hope we get him as a party member later on because that would be fun.
You mean Sax? I thought he was a bad guy.
No, no, Lee.
Oh, Lee, right.
No,
Uh,
Lee.
oh, right. Axel. I sorry. Um, I right. I kind of hope that in Kingdom Hearts 3, Ven remembers Axel from his nobody days, like sort of like Roxas and Ven are connected because they're the same person.
I hope so too because otherwise we're gonna have two people that look exactly like each other, and it's gonna be the most awkward thing.
Right. Um, but yeah. Hope Master Yen gets some stuff to do.
I hope so too. I hope he wields the Star Seeker. I want to see Yen Sid in battle. I really want to see that.
That'd be cool. I think he's gonna die if he goes up in battle though. You gotta kill off your
I
wizard.
hope.
You gotta kill off your wizard. Yeah.
I hope not.
Oh yeah. So
Do the Gandalf thing and
yeah, you go the way
let
for.
just do that. Rip that off. Why don't you?
Right. Well, why not? They're already ripping off Star Wars. Rip off Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. They're ripping off Harry Potter too. But yeah, I can't think of anything else with da da da. What do you make of young Master Xehanort? Think he's gonna be a main antagonist? I really want Master Xehanort to be just the bad guy.
He'll probably be a minor antagonist.
I hope so. Keep him minor. Um, that's all I can think of.
Benjamin Diskin's a great voice actor, but he's pretty much wasted here.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else for da da da. Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah, so let's just move on to overall problems.
So yeah, story's convoluted as all heck.
Yes.
Oh god, and it starts off so simple. It's just
And stayed relatively simple for the most part through 2, and then Birth by Sleep happens, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
I know, and okay, I guess we should address this. Kingdom Hearts 2, I think you can play without playing 1 and 2, what Chain of Memories, at least I did. I figured it out eventually. I didn't know some of the more inner details, but I got what was going on. You can't play 3 without knowing everything else.
No, oh, that's the other thing we should mention. I don't get how you play. I don't get how you make 3 stand on its own without having the other games under your belt. I don't get how.
Unless
I
you do
don't
one
get how.
long exposition dump. And I'm afraid they're going to do that.
I'm afraid so too, but I don't know. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. I'm afraid 3 is going to be the most convoluted thing ever. Which you couldn't make all this work, and I'd still say just release the games, re-release the games on the PS4, the system you're going to release the Kingdom Hearts 3 on, and I think you'd level some of that down.
Yeah, but you still have to buy the games and play the games. Like, I'm talking, when I say standalone, I mean jump into the game.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be able. I don't think there's any way around that. Sadly,
I mean,
there might be, but it would be.
Yeah, I feel like you could get away with it because it's the finale. It's sort of like Captain America: Civil War. It's sort of like there's got to be a point when they can't hold our hands forever.
Or they do.
Although to be fair, Captain America: Civil War is pretty easy to follow.
Yeah, or they could do what Dream Drop Distance did and just put the codex from all the games in there.
If they do that, that just seems interesting. Like, I say there's one of two ways. You do the codex thing, and if you do the codex thing, you just start off the game right in the middle. You don't even bother. You're just like, Thor, Donald, Goofy, Riku, Kairi, Big War, or whatever is going on in the middle of their adventure. Just start. It could be a tutorial, but it's a tutorial that's like, just, you drop us into the story right away. No build up, just drop us in. I mean, the tutorials worked for 1 and 2. Well, mostly for 1, I think. 2 was too long. but 1 worked because the first game, yada yada. You gotta set this all up. But 3, I say tutorial, but you drop us right into the story.
Yeah.
And make
And
the.
just
Oh, sorry, you go.
and just interweave all the details in on your travels.
Exactly. And also, make the worlds important again. The worlds were so
Yes.
beautiful in the first game. And I know I keep sounding like a first game fanboy. I apologize, people. I really do. I like the other games, but you can't deny the worlds are kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Except for the OC worlds.
Yeah.
Like in Birth by Sleep. What's the most important world? Keyblade Graveyard. 2,
Yes.
Hollow Bastion, Traverse Town, World That Never Was. Da-da-da. World That Never Was. Make the worlds important again. Um, Also, I guess, try to make it all make sense.
Yes.
But I don't think you can.
Also,
Oh, sorry, you
and
go.
the last thing I'll say before I think we have nothing but to say about just the problems and issues of Kingdom Hearts as a whole. What do you do when you run out of stuff to use for your world?
Exactly, like, do you start ripping off the Disney? Well, okay, here's the thing. There's 2 things they can do. One of which I'm going to not like. But I have a feeling they're going to probably do this, especially with that trailer as any consolation. They're just going to start making it worlds. It's going to be so much its own thing now. It's almost like if the Disney thing is going to, like, you've noticed the Disney side slowly going away.
Or they could do the Kingdom Hearts 1 thing and just start not doing your own original tales within these Disney worlds, which you can make work.
I love that. I would just love them, like, we're in Aladdin's world. We're giving Aladdin his own story. Like, we're making up stuff now. I would love that.
We could, and apparently, from what I'm reading, that might be what they're doing.
It's the only way you could do it at this point without having to retell the movie. Like,
And I think the reason that they won't go the route of just making it fully original worlds, you're going to lose a massive amount of audience.
oh, totally, that too. I would almost argue, well, okay, here's the thing. I would almost kind of wish in Kingdom Hearts 3, the Disney villains, the ones you killed off, are resurrected again. But they still die. That way, you could just kind of do the comic book thing of just having Scheme of the Months, but make it part of the overall story.
Well, if we do time travel, we could always do the convoluted thing.
Yeah, but I see like just the full-on comic book resurrection thing just seems to make no sense by this point. Like
Well, we have Kingdom Hearts, so it could work.
Yeah, true. I want to see if I can think of one more thing. Where I know they plan to make more games, but I don't know if you can top. Well, you might not top. Kingdom Hearts 3 might not top, be the big finale we all hope for because it's been so hyped. But I don't think you can top this big story that, while, it's been just a mishmash of just the games all coming together, that you've tried your best, or worse, I don't know, to make one big saga. I'm a little worried about what happens post the Xehanort saga, as they have called it.
Yeah. And maybe that's a discussion for a different video, so that's something we can talk about in the future.
Yeah, let me just make sure I didn't run it. Okay, I didn't. So yeah, that I think is good. Now we're 23 minutes in. That's good time. We talked a lot about Kingdom Hearts, our problem.
Yeah. I hope we didn't hurt y'all's feelings too much.
We tried our best. I felt like I came off as like a Kingdom Hearts 1 fanboy, but because we didn't talk much about that game.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the first game.
First game. It's a standalone game
Let's do like a little one more overview of just the games overall. Kingdom Hearts 1, simple. Chain of Memories, it gets a little convoluted game story-wise, and the gameplay is not that good. 2 strong, but too much filler. Burst by Sleep, dumb heroes, interesting concepts. Master Day
but a little nonsensical.
Nonsensical. Days, okay. Coded, not needed. Dream Drop Distance. Time travel, lots of convolution. Organization 13 kind of ruined.
Yes,
And that's pretty much it. Would you agree with me, Cole?
I agree.
So yeah, that's our problems with the Kingdom Hearts series. We love this series though, and we complain because we love.
It may not sound like it, but we love this series, people.
We'll praise it when we do a retrospective.
Yes, we will praise it.
Okay, for the most, or we'll complain more. But yeah, until next time, I'm JD123.
And I'm Nero Cole, telling you, may the force be with you.
Always.